Hello everybody, welcome back to DIY Semi. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about air filters, and this video is going to be for everybody, whether you own a car, a truck like this, farm equipment, construction equipment, anything with a motor. Even more so for farmers and people with construction equipment that operate in dirty environments. Air filters really get neglected, and I just want to show you some best practices here, and something a little different, maybe a good solution for you if you don't want to spend a lot of money on air filters. So stick around, and you might like my idea here. So this truck has actually 6 air filters, front to back. Primarily today we're going to focus on the engine air filter and the cabin air filter. Behind this firewall there's also a fresh air filter for the HVAC fan. There's another fresh air filter in the sleeper for the HVAC fan there. There's a fresh air filter under the bunk for the APU. And then there's an air filter on the APU itself for a total of 6. So for today we'll just talk about these. Another day we'll talk about the ones inside the vehicle. Let's start with this cabin air filter here. It'll be the quickest. Get it out of the way. You're going to want to pay attention to these. If you're not getting good airflow through your vents or real good cold air, take a look here first. This wasn't awful. It definitely needs to be changed. Seen them way worse than this. People always forget about this. Look at all that dirt in there. See all that dirt coming out? This is only about 2 months old. So we're going to go ahead and replace this. If you look here, it's the direction of airflow. So it was in here like this. The airflow goes in through here and then up into the cab. So just when you put the new one in, make sure that you have the direction of the airflow correct. Here's our new one here. Look how much cleaner that is. So here's our arrow. We'll just line that up right there. Slide it in. This also has a arrow on it for the direction of airflow right there. It's pretty easy. It's going to go on like that. There, that's all there is to it. Make sure your little wires go in those grooves there. And that's all there is for the cabin air filter. This one we'll just set aside for now. So let's get to this one here. To prove that people at the Quick Lubes don't know anything about air filters or pay attention, I had to write this on here. Do not service, not disposable, stop. But do you think that stops any one of them from messing with this air filter? This is a $400 air filter, and it makes me very angry when they touch it and I tell them not to. So we're going to open this up. The air flows in here, goes through this filter and into your engine. So we'll just pull this out, take a look at it. Now I have this out, but that's not it for right now. It's not a good practice to leave this sitting here like this with no filter in it. There's a lot of dust and dirt in the air and pollen. So I took a towel and stuffed it in a bag here. We just need to plug that hole. There. Now nothing can get in your engine while this filter's out. And you may say that's a little bit of nitpicking, but would you take this oil fill plug off and dump oil or dump dirt in your oil? You're about essentially doing the same thing. If you leave that open and just debris from the air gets in there, pollen, insects, if the wind kicks up and blows dirt itself in there, that's no good. So don't do that. This air filter is pretty nasty. I usually service this every 30,000 miles, about 10,000 miles overdue. But with your paper air filters, it'll be much the same as your cabin air filter. It'll be dirty, and people don't service them as regular as they should. And the biggest thing I want to get across is I see people pull these paper air filters out and take an air gun and start blowing them out from the inside out or outside in, however the heck you do it. That's really a bad practice to do, because what you're doing with compressed air is making micro tears in that paper fiber, and it makes holes for dirt to get through. And that's the whole purpose of an air filter to begin with, is to keep dirt out. So we really don't want to do that. If I accomplish anything with this video today, it would be to get people to stop doing that. If that air filter is dirty, you need to change it. I understand they're expensive, about $60. So that's where this would come in handy. This is a Fleet air filter. Let's see, where's the name on it here? Well, there's the sticker. That's a Fleet air filter. That's the model number. That's the model number my truck takes. So what's different about the Fleet air filter is it's reusable. It has these 3 wraps on it. This outer layer is designed to catch most of the dirt, and it does. It does a really good job. You can see that. May have had a little too much oil on there last time. And then you got a middle layer that's a little finer yet, so you don't see a heck of a lot of dirt on there. That red stuff is air filter oil from last time I serviced it. So we'll peel that layer off here. Set that aside for now. Then we got the third and final layer. This one's really fine. You don't really see a lot of dirt here at all. It's designed to catch the smallest of particles, so most of it's caught by those 2 outer layers. Let's peel this off. So you got it stripped down to the metal here. They just have these on here to help the ends seal up nice and tight when you're putting it back together. And then you can tell it's doing its job. Look at how shiny and clean that metal is in there. There's no dirt anywhere. So to clean this, what I did is I bought a second set of wraps for it. So we're going to take these, get a 5-gallon bucket of warm soapy water. Find that Dawn dish soap works the best. And we're going to soak them in there overnight. Probably going to change the water, then soak them again for a few more hours. Every so often we'll kind of agitate it. What you don't want to do with these is wring them out like that to get water out of them. You can severely damage that, and essentially they really won't be any good anymore. So we're just going to soak them, kind of agitate them a little bit, and when it's time to rinse them and get the water out, I take them and I just kind of press the water out like that. Or you could even just squeeze, but very careful not to wring them. You cannot put them in the dryer. You cannot put them in the washer. You have to wash them by hand, let them air dry. So we wash them and then I hang them in the house. So like I said, outside there's a lot of dirt in the air and pollen and stuff like that. So I paid about $300 for this filter, as opposed to a regular air filter that's about $60, but this thing lasts for life. And it actually filters your air better, lets more air through, and a little bit, you'll notice a little bit of power and fuel economy increase with this. Your turbo, you'll hear your turbo spool up faster, and you'll have a better throttle response. K&N also makes a reusable air filter. It's a little different from this. It doesn't come apart. You wash it right on the filter. So there's another good alternative. But blowing them out, I really wish people wouldn't do that. You know, especially farmers and construction equipment. It costs a considerable amount of money to overhaul those engines. So why would you create a situation to let more dirt in that can do more damage? And the same with trucking. I mean, look how much dirt is in that canister right there. You know, you get in some gravel lots and stuff, and it gets really dirty. So we're gonna get these soaking. Actually, I have a second set of wraps. I already have them soaking. I have to finish cleaning them, and then I'll be back to show you how we oil everything and put it back together. So here I have my Fleet air filter wrap soaking in a bucket full of hot soapy water, like I said. And you want to kind of agitate it. I'd have these soaking it overnight already. And I dumped the water once because it gets really dirty. And you agitate it every once in a while. Being real gentle. And here, I'll let you see me dump this water so you can see how dirty it is. Even this on the second rinsing here, it's still pretty darn dirty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these wraps and I'm going to rinse them out in the sink. Then I'm going to hang them on a laundry rack inside the house because we don't want sitting outside. A lot of dust and debris and pollen in the air. We don't want that in our filters. So I'm going to get these things drying. And then when it's time to oil them up and put them back on, I'll definitely be back. Well, good morning everybody. This air filter has been washed and it's been hung up to dry overnight. So we got to get this thing back in the truck here so we can get on the road. So you have 3 different wraps here. They're all different lengths, short, medium, long. Just lay them out here on top of each other, measure them up. We're going to start with the shortest one first. So we're going to use this Klotz foam air filter oil. This is what Fleet Air Filter sells and recommends for these filters. Shake it up good here. What we're going to do is we're going to put a coating of oil on one side here and rub it in. Massage it in with our hands. So just want to make sure we cover the whole thing. For one filter servicing, should be ending up using about 1/3 of a can. So this helps to wear gloves for this. So you're going to massage this oil in with your hands to distribute it as evenly as you can. It's not going to be perfect, but just do what you can. That's pretty good. So we'll grab our air filter here. I cleaned this up this morning here. Remember that was all black and dirty. All I did was take some of this Purple Power grease remover and cleaner, spray it on there and wipe it off. It's a pretty good degreaser for just about everything. So lay the filter flat like this. Now the inner wrap and the outer 2 are going to go on differently. So this is the side that we oiled on the inner wrap. We're going to line it up here. Kind of press it down into place with your fingers. Oil side out on the first one. This one goes on pretty easy. This is a little bit of a messy job, so that's why I put cardboard down first. Okay, so it's all tucked in here. Now you got this gap, this is Velcro here. So all we gotta do is kind of stretch that tight and seal it up all the way around. So I'm gonna do that now. Alright, you can see we got the Velcro all together. Oops, I missed a little spot here. Here we go. So there, the inner wrap is on now. So now we're going to move to the middle wrap. Okay, I'll set this aside for a second. Right here is our next shortest wrap. Same thing. We're going to oil one side of it only. Rub that in good. And also make sure this cardboard I'm working on here is clean so we don't get any dirt on there, which I did that. So, alright. Bring your filter back up here. Now this is going to go on a little differently. This oiled side is going to go in towards the inside of the filter. We'll get it lined up. Gets a little trickier with these two outer ones, getting them into place here, but still not terrible. You're taking up all the space in here. Let me see if I need to adjust the camera here at all. Oh, it looks like you can see what I'm doing. Alright, once again we got that gap there. So let's go ahead and button that up. Alright, second wrap is on. There you can see the seam is together. Now, for this outer one here, we're going to do the same thing. This outer wrap is designed to catch the biggest particles, so it does most of your filtering. As you could see when I took the dirty one off. Alright, that's pretty good. Oh, also, we want to stagger out these seams. So, you know, this seam was here, so we'll cover that with the wrap and put the last seam out here. It just helps kind of keep from having all your gaps in one space here. So we'll just lay that on there. Okay. This one can get a little trickier. That's a pretty tight space in there by now with 2 layers of foam. Just make sure you don't get all bunched up in the ends here. Make sure everything's nice and even and flat. There. We're all together here. Looks really good. So, I got this little oily here on the ends. Just gonna wipe that off again quick. Then I'll show you what we want to do. This oil will just hold and attract dirt, which ain't that bad as long as it's on the outside of the filter. Okay, this is the side that's going to go against the engine there, or the end of the canister. So, get a little bit of Vaseline here, just a little bit, just a really thin layer. Put it around here. It's going to help everything slide together better. I do emphasize just a little thin layer, not a lot. Put it around here. There, it's just a tiny little bit to lubricate it. Alright, we're ready to install this filter back in the truck. I've lost my cameraman here, so try to do this with one hand. Wipe this canister out some. I had already wiped it out yesterday, so we'll just wipe it out a little more. Okay, I remember we left that baggie in there so that we keep all the dirt out of the engine. Really good idea to do that. So, pull that out. Just gonna wipe here a little bit. This is why we put that Vaseline on there, because that's gonna slide around this ring here and it'll just help get on there and seal up better. This is our mating surface for the gasket on the end of the filter, so we want it to be nice and clean. Alrighty. Whoops. Put it on there. Press her in. And that is it. That's going to be a better filter for you. I said it's going to last the lifetime of your vehicle, do a better job, and give you a little bit better fuel economy and power. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and we will see you next video.